financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is the equity problem when eliminating debt. Mr. Equity, Brian Small.
Seems fair. Good morning, Ken.
Mr. Equitable, Jeffrey Kirschner.
Nice to see you and everyone else equally.
Equity, equitable,
How about elegant?
elegant.
Oh, I was going to say equine.
Jim Simasko, equine.
Great to be here.
Very nice.
There's no horsing around, right?
Look, I ran into a lawyer and I said, "What's your specialty?" She said, "Equine law." Equine law?
Yeah, she's probably out in Florida then.
No,
Or
she's
Texas,
out
or-
here.
Oh,
She's
really?
in Bingham Farms.
Okay, well we've got.
Philip and Hunt, you got
Yeah.
other places with
Well,
horses
Brian
and-
also rode his horse in today, and so I imagine you probably used her when you purchased it.
It's possible.
Well, his car has.
Listen, I
horsepower.
have a friend of mine that owns 16 horses, so he has
Exactly 16 horses?
at
Not
the moment
15, not 17. When was the last time you got the count?
Right.
the other day,
Okay.
but he's looking to buy
All right.
4 more. So,
So now that we've covered horse law, let's talk about the equity problem when eliminating debt. But before we get to that, I just want to put it in the framework of the 3-point retirement plan.
that's a shock, really.
Yes. The more we see, well, right now the person who was in charge of housing is now in charge of our SPY network.
That makes a lot of
So,
sense.
Yes.
so the 60-year mortgage got passed over when he went over to SPY. And the housing bill that
Devastating.
has bipartisan support at last step still hasn't been signed into law. But I have to give the president some credit. His comments to that bill were boring. And I didn't read the bill, but I read the synopsis of the bill and all of the things that they put together to try and boost the
Are
housing.
boring, yes.
And I didn't see anything that was like, that said to me, that's going to work. That doesn't mean that I'm wrong, but I kind of got the same feeling when I saw it. So it's like,
I'm not offended with boring these days.
He-
Boring
here-
is
here-
good.
no,
Oh, I
boring.
welcome that.
I would love to turn the TV on to the news for boring.
The concept
Absolutely.
behind and the momentum behind the housing bill is great. The reality is the bill is putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, you've got, housing will boom if interest rates fall. That's the way it always works.
Yep.
So it's like you're not going to really.
But
change that mix.
housing's booming anyway. The price of housing is.
Yeah, well,
in
you
fact,
still
this
have
morning-
that big problem is the boomers that have their houses paid
or it had 2.75%
are
interest mortgages.
not selling them.
But there's also another.
Or if they're going to sell them, they're going to sell them at the absolute highest price.
But there's also another aspect to it. Is people are buying other houses. I don't know the market in terms of building new houses. When your
Well, that
value
was-
is going up, but the problem is that the cost of building a house is astronomical.
Well, that's part of this housing bill is supposed to incentivize new builds and create new housing.
And prohibit big investors from buying up all of the affordable housing market and then turning them into rentals and so forth and that flip industry. So
There was a
I don't know how they're going to implement that.
article in CBS News this morning, in fact, about the fact that housing now values and prices have peaked at the highest level ever, period, since...
Except doesn't that always happen? Every time, if the housing market's always escalating, isn't every escalation A
The
peak.
record.
But it was in comparison to wage growth
Oh, okay. So on a comparative
and
basis,
job growth.
yeah.
It is now
The
at a new
price
peak.
is proportionally higher than it would have been in any
Wage
other
growth is
sector.
stagnant, and prices of housing is up.
So anyway, the 3-point retirement plan was own your home free and clear, have zero debt, and have cash in the bank. Now, we've been preaching this 3-point retirement plan or advocating it for a fairly long period of time. When I work out, I often do YouTube, catching videos. And I ran into a video last week, and it was an individual explaining the keys to retirement. And he almost said, right at the beginning, the 3-point retirement plan. But the first thing he came out with was, own your home free and clear. And his whole focus was in retirement on liquidity. He was anti second homes. He said, if you're going to have a vacation home, unless you're going to use it frequently, it becomes a strain on your cash because all you end up doing is paying taxes and maintenance on 2 homes rather than 1. Cars, he said, car payments. Do you need a car payment in retirement? No. Do you have to drive a brand new car? No. And he was saying these are the credentials of the wealthy retired person. They don't do those things. They stay liquid. So if there's a downturn, they have the cash. The downturn doesn't affect them as far as their investments and so forth. I thought it was interesting because it was just kind of a different perspective advocating the same thing that we've been talking about.
Well, wait, Ken, I didn't know that you made YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Well,
You're putting Law and Reality on YouTube and
Yes,
watching it at the gym?
don't you realize that? Law and Reality
I was
has a
watching
YouTube
I was
channel.
watching somebody else. Well, in particularly if you were a former Spectrum viewer, you can catch us on YouTube right now because Spectrum's having a big fight with Scripps over the Pistons. So
No, it's a big fight over Law
hopefully
and
when you
Reality.
see this
Exactly,
show,
it's a big
hopefully
fight over Ken.
When this show airs, you'll see it on Spectrum as well. And on that comment, let's take a break. But I have a follow-up comment about AI and Law and Reality. We'll be back.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
So, how old should your grandsons be before they can spend their inheritance on their own?
Thanks, Grandma. Yeah, thanks, Grandma. This car's awesome. Thanks, Grandpa. We got 2.
35. You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Simasko Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Simasko Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. So real quick story. So I went on ChatGPT to ask it, well, when do you think this problem between Scripps and Spectrum will get resolved quickly? And it comes back and says, well, we're not really very sure about that. I said, are there a lot of complaints going into Spectrum? And ChatGPT says, oh, yes, there are many complaints going to Spectrum about this. And I said, well, is it all about the Pistons? Or what about some of the other shows, like Law and Reality? Are people upset about that? Oh, yes, people are very upset about Law and Reality. And I was saying, oh, so, the moral of ChatGPT is garbage in, garbage out.
It is a bit self-serving, and we'll tell you exactly what you want to hear.
I have no connection to Law and Reality. I don't even like the show. Does it have an effect? Oh, yes, it still has an effect.
Then of course,
because we know you're involved in the show.
And you're handsome, too.
Exactly. It's America's favorite show. Okay?
Yeah, ChatGPT is my best friend. All right, so equity problem and eliminating debt. What the traditional way to eliminate debt is what?
Well, start off with your three most basic avenues to eliminate debt. Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and debt resolution. Okay? And where the equity problem comes in is values of homes have grown so dramatically in the last 5-6 years that people have considerable equity in their home, yet they have considerable personal debt, credit card debt, hospital bills, personal loans.
Simple, just refinance.
Well,
that's what the refinance company says.
You're 100% correct. That was the traditional method, a traditional method of getting out of debt. You would refinance your debt and do your 30-year mortgage and spread it out. The problem is there's so many people now that have mortgages that are 2.75 to 3.25% interest, and when you go to refinance, you're refinancing at 6% or more.
So that's a killer.
Your mortgage payment could conceivably almost double, especially when you're taking equity out.
So can you just get a second mortgage? Or those rates are pretty high.
So HELOCs are an available option if your credit is good and if your debt to equity ratio is good. But at some point, what's happening is
let me ask you a broader question. Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I think it's a terrible idea.
That's what I was kind of hoping to hear from you about.
Why is it a bad idea?
Because you're stealing from your retirement. You're stealing, and if you're stealing from the concept of the 3-point retirement plan, pay the damn house off.
All right, so how do you get rid of the credit card debt then?
Well, so traditionally, like I said, we would look at Chapter 7, but the problem is with so much equity in the homes right now, we have too much equity and and lack of ability to protect that equity. In Michigan,
so give me an example and then compare it. Let's say my house is worth $400,000 and I owe $270 on it. I'm married with 2 children.
Okay, you got $130,000 equity in your home. Traditional exemptions, that's the protection, the amount of equity you can protect in your house.
And I have $100,000 of credit card debt.
Is $63,000 for a married couple total under the federal exemptions, about anywhere from $55,000 to $70,000 worth of equity for a married couple under the Michigan protections, unless you own the house together as a married couple and have no joint debt. The problem is these days most people are walking in with joint debt. If you have no joint debt, we can protect all the equity for a married couple.
Where does joint debt come? What is joint debt? What is not joint debt?
So joint debt is when you've applied for a credit card or a personal loan together. and you both signed your on the obligation.
Don't most people apply now online?
They do, and
But they do it together?
People will do it together. Sometimes, so there's a difference between a co-applicant and an authorized user. A co-applicant is you applied for credit together. An authorized user is I have a card and I gave one to my spouse or my child.
Yeah, so I think the classic online is you apply yourself, you get approved, then they ask you, do you want a card for your spouse? Then that's
Spouse
going to
or
be
kids or anyone else.
That becomes an authorized user. So a takeaway here, although it's not that we're advocating credit card debt as a good thing at all.
But if you're going to apply in one name only.
Yeah, and particularly online, why would you apply together?
But you know what I'm seeing a lot
unless you
of
think
right
you
now?
can't get approved.
I'm seeing a tremendous number of people walking into the office with EIDL loans and SBA loans for failed businesses that they started.
Oh, tons.
In 2020 and 2021 when they were working.
Well, how does that impact on the...
Well, those are joint debts, and they're eating up...
Because they're both guaranteeing the debt.
Yeah, they eat up the opportunity to protect the equity of the home.
Let me ask you a question. I borrow the money in the name of my LLC, and it's personally guaranteed by me and my wife as a guarantor. Is that a joint debt?
Yes.
In the eyes of the bankruptcy world, it is?
But what if
because technically, you're a guarantor. The debtor is the LLC.
But the individual is the one who's filing the bankruptcy, and the argument is, yes, you have a counter argument that there's no debt owed because the LLC may not have defaulted yet. But if the LLC defaulted and they made a claim against...
Oh, so if the LLC was current at the time you filed, which it wouldn't be typically because people are fast to default on those loans.
You could argue that there is no joint debt.
So you could get that loan reinstated on a payment agreement, which is easy to obtain, and then file the bankruptcy.
Maybe, but I don't know if I'd want to risk my house over an aggressive trustee and a judge saying...
But can you then just dismiss the bankruptcy?
You can't dismiss a Chapter 7 once you file it. So you can voluntarily file, you can't voluntarily dismiss.
But if you're an individual, own a business, even though you're married, you own your business only in your name, you took out this loan because of COVID, everything else, that's not a joint debt then, is it?
No, not unless your spouse guaranteed it.
Because once you
have two guarantors,
if the business guarantees it, and you guarantee it yourself, as long as your spouse isn't part of that,
then you're okay.
Then you're okay.
Then it's not a joint debt.
But the second you have your spouse on anything, then
yes.
In classic SBA loans before EIDL would typically take second mortgages on your home. Let's take a break. We'll come back.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If your daughter passes away before you, do you want her share to go to her kids, or do you want to go to your new son-in-law?
You didn't have to buy me a Ferrari.
Don't worry, baby. There's plenty more where that came from.
The kids. You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Simasko Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Simasko Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce Thav Gross has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirschner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross, Simasko Law, Kirschner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. So let me ask you a question. If you take out a home equity loan for $100,000, leaving yourself only $20,000 of equity in the home, but you haven't taken the loan out, okay?
You haven't borrowed the money?
You have the line. If you file bankruptcy, does that line amount go against your equity?
No.
Or you still have the
actual
equity?
real equity.
Or is it? So if I have a $300,000 house with a $200,000 mortgage and an $80,000 line that I haven't taken, for bankruptcy purposes, how much equity do I have?
$100,000.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't work to just take out the line to use up the equity to file the bankruptcy.
But if you were to have spent the line, then what happens?
Well, then you've reduced your equity
Then
position.
you're under those numbers.
Then you're
But
fine.
that's there are so many better ways. Even so, let's assume.
Yeah, let's figure. Give
Let's
us a
assume
solution.
Chapter 7 is not an available option because you have too much equity in your home. Well, Chapter 13 may be an available choice because we do something called a liquidation analysis. We figure out how much money after cost of sale and attorney's fees and trustee fees is there that your unsecured creditors
An
would get.
imaginary cost of sale.
Yeah. And because of that, it usually it would take that $100,000 of equity position down to something like $25,000 between the exemption and the cost of sale.
That's the amount you'd have to pay your creditors?
That's the amount you'd have to pay your creditors
Even
over
against my $100,000 of credit card debt. Okay, so that works.
Or debt resolution, where we
Well,
settle
why
it.
would you do debt resolution rather than the Chapter 13?
So you look at you weigh the results, right? Which one comes up with a better result?
I know what debt resolution is, and we
Which
do.
one
But
puts more money?
what
leaves
is-
more money in
what
your
is
pocket?
debt resolution?
Settling your debts for less than full value
Outside of bankruptcy.
outside of bankruptcy. A non-bankruptcy solution to debt.
Done by doing what?
Negotiating settlements and negotiating payment plans and putting you in a position where the debt is gone in a relatively short period of time at a much lower cost than paying it directly.
Can't anyone just do that though? Can't they make the calls?
So my response
work.
is that
Why?
it doesn't work because you can't negotiate for yourself because you don't know when to say no.
Okay.
Okay. Second of all,
You also can't answer the questions.
Yeah. When they say, where do you bank? You can't go, I don't know. okay, because they're trying to garner information.
How much do you have in your retirement account?
I don't know.
Oh.
See, when they ask us, I don't know.
Plausible deniability.
Well, I could check, but I'm not going to. And then and I think they have tax problems as well. We can massage in the negotiation process, but the biggest one is if you try and do it yourself, you don't know when to say yes and you don't know when to say no. They get them on the phone and say to you, "We'll give you 20% off. This is the best offer American Express has ever made to anyone. It's very unusual for us to do it. We're willing to do it for you today, Mr. Kirschner. No one else." And is that? But you have to take advantage of this.
And you have to write
now.
the check now. Pay now.
Okay.
189% BS total, that person tells you. And it's usually coming from this sweet elderly woman that sounds like your grandmother. And you're apt to say, "Oh, well, thank you so much. That's great. I had heard you could get 50%. Oh, no! If you could get 50%, we would give you 50%. I would give you 50%, but I can't because they won't let us do that. This is the best you'll ever get."
Till next week.
If you're trying to do that yourself, you don't have any frame of reference to know what is BS and what is not. So it doesn't work. But the essence of when debt resolution works is what Brian likes to call the power of the minimum monthly payment. If your finances are such, but not everybody's are, that you can still handle the minimum payments on the credit card debt. Say it's the $100,000 credit card debt, it's $3,000 a month. It's taking away your retirement. It's using every available extra dollar you have.
Imagine you take that minimum monthly payment, you save it, it becomes your war chest to go to war with the creditor. And within between 18 and 30 months. I mean, it's between a year and a half and 2.5 years. You can make that debt go away with the minimum monthly payment through negotiation.
And the difference is this: if you don't do that, you'll have gone that 18 to 30 months paying the $3,000 a month, and the credit card balance that was $100,000 then
will still be $100,000.
So when people look at that, everyone wants the short-term solution. The bankruptcy, Chapter 7 is what? 4 months?
4 months, yeah.
And you're done. That's the
and
greatest.
a Chapter 13 can be as little as 36 months to 60 months. And if you can end up paying 5 cents on the dollar or 15 cents on the dollar, you're going to get a better result than debt resolution. But again, we have to look at the whole picture. You come in, we're going to do the analysis, and the key is no matter what, we're going to protect the house.
And even
it sounds like the solution is individual to the
individual.
Yes.
8 seconds too soon.
Oh.
But with that great point made by Kelsey Simasko, we'll see you next week on Law and Reality. Thanks for watching.